Hey guys, my name's Will and I'm the DigiKey ambassador for Purdue University. And it's actually been a little bit since my last update video on my train project, but as you can see, I have been working on it non-stop. In the background here, I've got my back cab of the train, so that's where people would sit. You can see it's fully printed, not painted yet. It's in 4 separate pieces. I've already started sanding that down, but I've also printed out the whole frame that the train will be resting on. You can see I have the steering mounts there, and the stairs are installed and sanded as well. You can even see where I put the servo to have the axle raise and lower. As you can see, this has been quite an exciting project for me so far, but in this video, I really want to talk about how I'm going to make the train play sounds. So with that, I think it's a great time to kind of assemble the board and show you how I put it together and kind of show you how to make the board make its first sounds with the push button setup that it comes with straight out of the box. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this board now. The first thing you'll notice is that I already have the speakers right here already attached to the left and the right channels of the Adafruit soundboard. And I've already put the soundboard on the breadboard just so that I don't have to move it around as much while I'm assembling it. The first step I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to make sure that the board is completely unpowered. It's not plugged in at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the like a wire, and I'm going to apply the wire from the ground to the ground rail here. And that's important because the way that this board is triggered, like I mentioned, is by taking a button and attaching it to the ground signal on one of the pins that controls the audio. So then what I can do is, that's all I need to do. I don't need to have any power on the buttons. I can just start adding the buttons here. Awesome. Okay, so like I mentioned here, each of these buttons need to have one of their legs on the ground, which is attached up here on the top, or I could grab another one of these wires here, and I could bring the ground from this plane over to the bottom here. So then what I can do is, instead of attaching all of these buttons to one ground point, I can sit here and just take wires going from the buttons directly to the actual ground rail instead. Okay, so once you have all of these connected here, now all of these buttons, the other side of the button, so I connected it onto the right side, the left side of the button. So right here on this side, you can see the button. There's another end. Awesome. So you'll see that all of them are right there on the right side. If I were to take this wire on the left side and push it in, now I can take that and bring it over to what is pin 0 on the board. What that means is that the button normally will have, this white is kind of hard to see, but normally the button will be open, but when I push the button right here, then it's going to connect the pin 0 to ground. And the Adafruit board is actually ground activated, which means whenever a button is pushed connected to ground, that's what triggers the sound. So that's what that's what is important to us. So I'm just going through. Each button is going to have a connection, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually finish this up, and then I will resume the video when I finish it. Alright, so I went ahead and I finished assembling the Adafruit soundboard setup. And you can see here that I have all of the wires directly plugged in, and I've actually plugged it in directly into the wall rather than the computer. That's important because when you plug the soundboard into the computer for power, it behaves like a flash drive and you can't really do anything with it. And so then all you have to do is push the buttons to play each sound. And I think now would be a great time to show you just how to install the sounds onto the board itself. So let me jump over the computer and I will show you right now. Alright, so I went ahead and opened up my computer, and you can see the soundboard is already plugged in, and it looks just like a flash drive on the side here of my file explorer. Alright, so you'll notice that it comes empty out of the box, or it might come already preset with some of the basic files. And so I decided I think now would be a great time to pull up the basic files you see here. Alright, so these are the ones that you can find off of the Adafruit website. Adafruit is the manufacturer of the board, and so they've made a few different simple files that kind of show what each of the features are. What's important is that you'll notice that they're all labeled T00, T01, all the way to T10. Basically, you have to name the file name based on what button you want it associated with. So I'm going to first go ahead and extract all of these to the Adafruit board right there. It'll take a couple seconds for it to download all the way onto the board. I will just say, I'm going to replace, I'll hit yes to all. Alright, that wasn't too bad. You'll notice here I have like T0 through T1. I'll even sort by dates or name just so it makes a little more sense. And then you'll probably be wondering, okay, what are these RAND 0, RAND 1, RAND 2? What about hold L, next 0? Well, those are the special latching mechanisms that Adafruit has put in. So basically, if you have a T01, that means it's assigned to button 1. Which is the second button, and then RAND 0, RAND through like RAND 4 means every time you push button 1, you will get a random of these T1 sounds. You don't know which one it's going to be, but it's going to be one of these 5, right? Then you also have hold L, which is like a hold latching, you have to hold down the button in order to get it to play. So if you just touch the button, it'll only play the sound for a little bit, but if you hold it, it'll play the sound for longer, which might be important for other uses. Next 0 and next 1 means it'll just cycle between these 3 right here. So it goes, every time you hit the 6th button here, it goes 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And then this 7th button here, labeled T6, is called latching. Basically, you touch the button once and it'll keep playing until you touch the button again. See, these are some really important naming conventions Adafruit uses, and it makes it so that you can use the soundboard for a variety of different things. For me, I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. In fact, Adafruit even supports the serial communication with Arduino, and so I'm probably going to use that, but I haven't yet looked into that for my project. But overall, these are the best ways to make it so that you can use your soundboard in any project that you want to use. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video on how to use the Adafruit soundboard for your own personal projects that might involve triggering sounds, such as applications where you want a sound every time you push a button, or more creative sensors, like every time you step on a rug, or other capacitive sensors that you can find online to make it basically anything into a button. I really enjoyed this project because it allowed me to experiment with acoustics, which is something I'm very passionate in, and really allowed me to practice with speakers and other important aspects of amplifier design and how to really make it work for a hobby project. I really hope you learned something in this video, and if you learned anything at all or you're more interested in this project, make sure to check out the project description down below this video on maker.io, and I can't wait to update you again on this incredible train project that I'm working on. Until next time, my name's Will, and I'm the DigiKey Ambassador at Purdue University, and I hope you have a great time making something new.